Hi everyone, a huge welcome. I hope you're all doing well. So today I want to show you how you can use photocopy prints in your resin. So I've got two royalty-free pictures here that I've printed out on my printer. I'm doing an ocean theme just because it's something I like to use around the house and I can use these. But you can use any print. So what we're going to do is we're going to just find the areas that we want to cut out. And I'm using the inside of pre-existing things that I've done that were perhaps just a flop or whatever. And I'm going to cut around those because you're going to get a true size. And then I'm going to use some Mod Podge. And I'm going to go over the tops. And when it's dry, I'm going to do the back as well. And then I'm just going to put them aside. But they come out so beautifully that you'll be so surprised at the end of this video to see how they look. And what I've done is I've built on top of these. So we did some beautiful photos that were from a wedding. So we did a whole set of coasters with the wedding photos that we just printed out in the printer, and they looked amazing. So I've set aside those prints, and I'm going to do the back of the molds now. So I've mixed 120 grams of resin, so 1-to-1 resin, and I'm just adding some blue mica powder. I was going to add a little bit of black just to darken it, but I decided against it. And then I'm going to pour this into the molds. It's not thick. It's quite a thin layer. And this is going to be the back of your coaster. And then just use your heat gun or your alcohol spray to get rid of any of the bubbles. And then I'm just going to cover this and I'm going to leave this to cure. So this was the next morning and they've cured nicely. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my prints and I'm going to do another layer of Mod Podge on the back. And I'm going to now stick these on top of the cured resin. And just make sure that you've pushed right up to the edge, that they're nice and firmly down and stuck nicely. And then just push out any air bubbles that you see. With this one, because of the ruffled edge, I actually put it in the mold before I was going to put the Mod Podge on, and I just made a little mark on the mold and the paper just so that I could match it up easier, just because of that ruffled edge. I didn't want to be trying all different ways. So I've just matching the two marks up and it will fit in nicely. And the same thing, just make sure it's nicely down right up to the edges. And then just leave it for a while, just so that it sticks down nicely. So I've mixed some more resin. I've only mixed 80 grams this time because I don't want a thick layer on here. I'm not going to go right up to the top. And I've got my sea sand. I actually had two colors of sand here, but I only ended up using the one that I'm doing now. And I've just added a little bit of resin into the sand. And I'm going to put that into the mold. And I'm also not going right up to the top. I'm still leaving quite a good gap there. So it's not a thick layer of sand I'm putting down. But it's amazing how you can build on top of this, and you'll see the colors just pop right at the end. I've taken some pictures, that were outside, and you'll see how vibrant it looks. And as I say, you can use any photos for this, and it just works so well. I don't laminate them or anything like that. I just use the Mod Podge, and it turns out perfect. So I'm just putting a very thin layer on here. And I'm going over the sand, and I'll do the same on the next, on the smaller one, the mold with the sea ripples. And then just make sure you remove any of the bubbles. You want this nice and clear. So I'm just adding some of this crushed glass that I made, and just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. I've left it pretty plain, but I mean, I could also do beach themes over that, with the sand, but I'm just going to use the crushed glass now. And I'm just putting a few into the bigger mold just for a bit of sparkle. And then I'm also leaving that overnight just to cure. And so now I'm going to do a thin layer with color. So I'm using my alcohol inks because you're going to get a transparent look, and you'll see how it just it just makes everything pop. I'm not using mica powders because I don't want to block out the actual print, because it's so beautiful. It looks like there's rocks underneath there. And then I'm just using a little bit of the leftover resin just to pour over the sand. And I'm not going to waste my resin, so I'm just going to add it into there and let it blend together. And I'm doing a top coat on this one as well, making sure I also get all my bubbles out. And once again, I'll just leave it to cure overnight. And so this is the next day, and this is the demolding. And then what I did was I just put a black, put black on around the sides of each one. And I'm so happy with how they came out. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's inspired you a bit to do maybe more personal things, grandchildren, children, etc. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it.